I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I go by at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly, bringing you some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. We are ranging, we are consolidating. Bitcoin is currently sitting around 87. What was it? What was the last time I checked? 88. It's up a little bit. 88.3, 88.4. Look at it go. But we are still in a range. We got some key levels to look at when we get to the charts. And we got a lot to talk about. AVAX with an ETF. So I did actually deploy some capital in that. We'll talk a little bit about that, as well as some potentially negative news that we will get to, and that involves the DXY. Your money ain't worth nothing no more, but that's all right. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs in the chat. Let's see who we got in here. We got my man HRJ Trading. What up to you, bro? Good to see you. He's over in the Discord dropping some fire signals. He's also in Alex O's Discord. My man is doing big things all over the place. Man, he's dropping it, man. He's got the hotness. Go check him out. He also has a YouTube as well, man. 74, not yet, man. Not yet. Be easy on that 74K. You've been calling for those downside targets here for a minute. You gotta be easy over there, HRJ. And of course, we got my dude Danny Quest in the house. He is my in real life homie. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you for being here. All right, let's go ahead and get it going. First thing we're gonna do is look at the total market cap, sitting at 2.99 trillion. That is still under that magical 3 trillion mark. Fear and Greed Index sitting at 35. Altcoin season, not a thing. It is at 26 out of 100. Not so good. Bitcoin 88.4, and that is up 0.51% over 24 hours. Ethereum is at 29.81, and that is up 1.93%. Bitcoin dominance sitting at 58.9%. That is actually down a little bit since the last time we have talked. Good to see there. If you're in the altcoins, good to see from me, who just deployed a little capital in AVAX. Let's go over the crypto bubbles. Let's see what we got going on here. We do have some green out there. Hype is up 20.1%. That is looking good. Zex up 17 points, or not 17, but 7.7. Pump is up 14.8%. Lit is up 9.7. What's divergent from the market, though? You got River. That is down 16.4%. Not looking all that great. What else? Everything else, I mean, kind of status quo out there. You see a little variation between green and red, so that's a huge indication of ranging consolidation, right? Like that's kind of what you're expecting to see. Let's go over to the news real quick. We'll bust through this, but you know who we got to invite up to the stage here? It is our man, none other than Mr. Elmer Fudd. Well, with that, there must be some FUD out there. Just then, US dollar reaches lowest level in 4 years. Surprise, surprise. Who was the president last then? It is the same guy. It went down 15%. Just so if you want to do some historicals, kind of, balance it. Like, what have we seen before? 15%. It's down, I think, 13% right now. So could it go a little bit lower? Maybe. But we've been here before. So, I wouldn't freak out about it. Honestly, yeah, it's going to go through cycles. There's waves. It goes up, it goes down. Cool. What are we doing right now for Bitcoin itself? If you're a 4-year cycle person, we are in kind of a downturn for the 4-year cycle. Look at about Q3 here of this year. Is when you would see that cycle ultimately start to turn around. So I know there's a lot of people that are patiently waiting right now. They're going on their trips. They're finding themselves girlfriends, all kinds of stuff. And then once things start to turn around when it comes to the 4-year cycle, they'll start deploying that capital again. And there you go. They'll ride it. They'll just keep playing the 4-year cycle until it doesn't work anymore. Why not? As mentioned, AVAX with the ETF, that was listed on the NASDAQ. And I believe that was actually yesterday. Net inflows weren't looking all that great from what I saw. It was pretty much even Steven out there for AVAX. Not a big deal for me. What this means for me, why I actually deploy capital. One, I do like AVAX. You guys know that. I've been pretty vocal about liking AVAX as a chain. But it brings more people to the party, right? Like this gives a little bit of credibility, right? There's not many cryptocurrencies that are listed that have ETFs right now. AVAX is now one of those. And so that puts it in rare company, to be honest with you. I love to see it. And I've been telling you guys, there's already deals in place with government entities, whether it's the DMV, whether it's real estate, doing titles. It's working with different states. And the deals that AVAX has in place are, I'm not going to say second to none, but they have some really, really big retail partners. And when I say retail, I'm talking about like retail giants. We're talking about like, things like Starbucks and things of that nature. They are building that blockchain technology for a lot of big, well, I won't say institutions, but some of them are. So it's something I like, having real world utility for me. I'm not a meme coin guy. You guys know that. I have to, when I'm investing, right? This is what I'm doing. I'm investing is obviously speculative because I'm investing in an altcoin, right? It's like investing in a very small company back in the day, just getting started. What do? You throw a little capital at it and hope that, hey, this grows into a giant, right? Like Google back in the day wasn't always as big as it is now, right? Like this is something that happened, after the boom, after the internet, boom became a thing, and it dominated the search engine world, and then it's expanded through there and has grown its business. But I mean, throwing a few $1,000s at something when it's young, when it's just getting established, that's kind of what I'm banking on right now. So that's what I'm looking at with AVAX. I'm going to hold it for a while. I know there could be some drawdown. Bear market lows would take it down to about $8 or so. I may ladder into that position a little bit more than I already am. Bring that cost basis down, because ultimately I do see AVAX at minimum going up to $22 to $24 again. It's been high. It's been over 100. We've seen AVAX over 100 before, but I'm banking on it going to $22 to $24, and that'll likely be my exit. What does that give me? That gives me 100% return on my investment. I'm in on that. Okay, so I mean, is anybody going to be mad about getting 100% return? I think not. So that is why I have personally thrown some capital into AVAX. And again, it's going to be a hold for me. Now, you guys know that's not really my style typically, but if it's an investment, then yes, I'm willing to hold. I was willing to hold Apple from 2009. Here we are, present day. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? All right, so let's go over to 2Bit. First thing we're going to do, we are going to look at P&L. I just want to be open and transparent with you guys. So you can see when I did start the account here, we had $1,000 month that month, and then about a $500 month this month. So, looking positive. All right. And again, I've been open with you guys before. It's not something that I'm here trying to get rich on. I just make what I see as higher probability, higher quality trades, and it supplements my income. And that's something you guys need to understand here. Like, this is not my full-time job. Like, when I'm going through this stuff, a lot of things that I'm looking at would be more suitable for somebody that has a full-time job, right? So I'm trying to find these key levels. We're patient, we wait for them, and then we take action on them when we get the setups that we're looking for. That's the way I like to approach it. All right, so I just want to be open, and I think I'm going to make that more of a thing here, just so like at any point, like if you guys are like, is it real? Is he just giving us fluff? Whatever the case may be, you guys can see my P&L. Ask me in the chat. I'm open. Okay, so maybe we'll just do that every day or every time I go live, so you guys can keep track of it and making sure that I'm not trying to pull the blanket over your eyes here. So, all right, let's go ahead and get on to our next segment. That is going to be the Daily DGen. All right, how this works, Daily DGen, I give you guys the audience opportunity to vote, whether we go long or short. Looks like we got 10 votes in right now. You guys are 70% moon. There is no question what you guys want to do. And what I do is I just throw some money on it. It is my money. It is real money. I was doing the what was it, the paper trading account, but bouncing back and forth just got annoying, to be honest with you. What I was trying to do is make it so like, what if I go back to my trade history, you don't see all these like 20%, 15, 20% losers, but I just don't care anymore. I got to be honest with you. So what are we going to do? We're going to throw 5 on it. Let's do it. You know it. We got 5 on it. You guys want to go long, and we are 20x isolated market. Cool. Send it. Let's go. That's what you guys want to do. We'll do it. We will do it. You guys are getting up to a little area of resistance right now, so good luck with that. I will pray for you. Let's go ahead and put a TP in there. Thank you, 2Bit, for giving us that option. That's something that we asked for from this community, and they gave it to us, so thank you. That is much, much appreciated. There you go. Putting our stop loss, putting our take profit. It's about a 1-to-1, and it's not typically how I trade, just so if you're new here, so you understand that. But we do like to have a little audience interaction, have a little fun here on the show. Let's see. Should we pull this? Nah, that's all right. Full send that thing. Let's go. All right. Let's go over the economic calendar real quick. I did not set this up, so sorry. I'm going to have to click a couple little buttons here for you guys. And there we go. So we got Fed interest rate decision. That is coming out tomorrow. That's going to be a biggie now. Okay, thank you for the advertisements here. If you guys want a shirt, a customizable shirt, there you go. So looking at that, so you got a Fed interest rate decision, federal press conference obviously will follow. There is a lot of sentiment right now pushing towards that we may not see a cut. We may not see a cut. So that is definitely going to be interesting. Obviously, I think that, whatever that move is likely to be priced in already, but you'll probably see a little bit of fluctuation in the market. The market will have its initial volatility like it always does right before you get the interest rate decision. I wouldn't trade that, honestly, because it just bounces all over the place. And if you're trying to do a tight stop or any kind of real stop there, you're likely to get stopped out. So just be careful with that. That's why we talk about it more so than anything else. I'm not going to deep dive on it. Again, I always send you to Piper for that. My man breaks down the macroeconomics on a whole different level. He's a beast with that stuff. Let's go ahead and fix this chart real quick. We're going to see the liquidation heat map. And you can see on the 3-day, you have liquidity above our price action right now. That's at about 89.2. We are starting to trend up in that direction. We're kind of working our way up. So if I were to be in an actual trade that you guys just went long on, I would look for that push up to actually grab that liquidity before closing out, because I think that's very probable. You come up, you wick into that area, and then you come back down into the range. If it just pushes through, great. That's all good. Looks very different. Impulse move. You'll have big, large body candle that pushes through. But I would say right now, with the way things are looking, just understanding kind of like looking at the terminals and looking at CVD, looking at open interest, things of that nature. What it looks like right now after that push down is that we're kind of just digesting things right now. And it's kind of leaning towards, as CVD kind of goes horizontal, open interest is pushing up a little bit. What does that mean, though? That there's more positions coming in, but there's no real push in either direction. Okay, so price action going horizontal, CVD going horizontal, open interest is starting to push up, which means there are positions building up, but it hasn't really picked which way it wants to go. That's why I would kind of lean towards coming up, taking that liquidity and just staying within the range, but we shall see. And that is an opportunity as well too. If you get a push through, you get a breakout retest of that area, and you may see continuation of the upside. You may be able to take a continuation based trade, pushing back up. Let's go to the monthly. I want to see the monthly real quick. I gotta open this up. Hopefully it was fast enough. Nope, I don't think it was. Let me refresh the page because it's just gonna get stuck behind me, unfortunately. It's kind of janky the way this works sometimes, but there you go. All right, back in the fight. So, interesting. One observation looking at the monthly here is that we had liquidity, right? We had liquidity, it came down, took that. That's the easy call, right? Coming down and grabbing that liquidity. You're not seeing a huge reversal, but what you're also not seeing, which is really what's perking my interest, is a lot of times when you see the liquidity on the left side, what happens is as price action continues to the right side, right? It always goes right. But as it continues, you'll start seeing these spots heat up to the right, all right? We're not really seeing that. And that is interesting, right? So liquidity is not just flowing in here, which it's like, okay, everybody's just kind of like taking a break check, which kind of leads me back to we're kind of in a pause right now in terms of price action. And for that reason, I wish I could give you guys a lot of like trade setups, be like, hey, these are the ones, like, but these, when we start breaking down the charts, which we're going to do pretty much live today, this is really, you know, I'm really just diving into the charts for, you know, and I won't say the first time today, but really actually like looking at them and trying to digest them a little bit more. I think a lot of the areas that we're going to look at, we're going to have to be patient for, because you're just not seeing that liquidity come in. All right. That's, I don't know if it's a low volume at this point. We'll have to look at that as well, but I'm just not seeing it. So yes, I think there's a little push up to be had there to at least take the liquidity that's on the 3-day. But then after that, man, there's not a lot. There's not a lot out there to give me, you know, high confidence, to be honest. All right. So let's get on the charts. This is the 5-day. Let's go down a little bit more. Let's go the 4-day, or sorry, correction, 4-hour. Sorry. Muscusi. All right, so you're coming up to the monthly pivot right now. All right, so that was one of my big kind of concerns. I was like, hey, I'm not really looking for longs right now because I didn't think the juice was really worth the squeeze here. And why is that? Because we dipped down low enough. Yes, we did take the bulk of the liquidity off the table because that's where the liquidity was. We go back to the heat map. You can look at that. But it was only like a 1-to-1, right? Like pushing right up into the monthly pivot, which is what we did. Is ultimately we got rejected. We got rejected right off the monthly pivot. So yes, did it break out, retest, continuation? Yes, it did do that. But I didn't see the risk to reward being worth it for me, because if you're really looking at this, you know, I would say, in the way that I kind of set it up is, okay, say that we go to the monthly pivot, we're looking at that wick below, you're looking at a 0.78. So it was skewed, you know, just massively in the wrong direction in terms of risk to reward. Therefore, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze for me. So what do you have next? If you continue to push up, right, you go back to the previous range. Well, you got a high volume area node, POC right there. That was the one where I was like, if you believe that we're going to continue to push up, we're going to break the monthly pivot, which it does. We are getting a little momentum. If you're looking at the ascending level of support here, that would say, hey, yeah, we're starting to build some pressure up to the top side. You got a horizontal level of resistance. What is the probability? Boom, boom, boom. And then ultimately, do you squeeze or do you break? You know, still likely the probability right there at this point is that you do push to the upside. All right, that's the probability based on the current structure of the price action right now. So, you know, that's kind of what I'm anticipating. But, you know, I didn't want to get into this and say, and with that risk to reward and bank on us going up to the POC, because this hadn't really presented itself yet. Right? We weren't able to see this ascending level of support. That didn't present itself. That has just recently presented itself. I would say more so today. Yes, we got the breakout retest. There could have been an opportunity right there to take this one as we came down and retested it, saw buying pressure come in. Then, you know, there could have been an opportunity. Hey, I think we could go up to the POC. That might have been, you know, a better opportunity here as we saw that buying pressure come in. Let's bring that down. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't want to cooperate. Why would it? But let's go right there. All right, so coming up, POC. There you go. There's your 2-to-1. And I think that would have been a lot more. It's actually a little more than that. Probably a 3-to-1. That was an opportunity. Oh, I think you guys just cashed out already. Sorry, man. Maybe I put that stop a little, or that TP a little bit too tight. I think you guys already won the daily degen. Yeah, you did. 5.38%. Yeah, I put that way too tight. All good. That's a winner. So there you go. Daily degen for the win, 5.38%. It was that quick. Let's go back here. Let's go looking at it. It is breaking out as we speak, right? So there you go. I mean, that's good to see. If you look at the chart prime, the prime oscillator, if you guys believe in oscillators, love oscillators, well, there you go. All right, that was showing you there was oversold on the 4 hour. You got your reversals. You got everything. Everything point and say, hey, we should put see a little push up. You did get the True 7 here, which is in the background. This one I do like. True 7 did flash as well. So, you know, there's a lot of things that lined up for a little bit of a push to the upside here. We're starting to get that. So where are we at now? You are looking at the value area low, and really this is the horizontal to test, I think, in my mind, in terms of pushing up. But there's only a little space, between that and the POC and this high volume area node. That's right here. Okay, so there's the POC. There's a high volume area node. This is really where I see some resistance. Let's see, what is this? 89.5. Let's go back to the liquidation heat map here. Let's do this. Let's go to the 3-day and let's explore this a little bit more. Okay, so we're pushing right up to the liquidity right now. That's at 89, really starting at 89.2. So I mean, it's all playing out. It's all playing out, just like I was talking about here, going up and at least grabbing this liquidity. I definitely thought that was in the cards, and I think there's going to be a little bit more of a push up. Let's slide this up real quick to kind of lock us in. That is not what I wanted. What are you doing? There we go. So we said 89. Let's just call it 89.2. Sweet. So potential here. Now we would be, I would say, on the lower time frames, fighting a little bit of the trend because you're getting that ascending level of support. But if we do see a push up, grab the liquidity, like a little liquidity grab up here around the high volume area node. So yeah, you grab the liquidity, 89.2, get that wick up to about 89.4, see that rejection, see the selling pressure come in. That could be an opportunity for a potential short. Maybe. Let's clear some of this out. Let's look at it. Let's see, 89.2, right above the value area low there. And then, can we get back down to the trend? That's something I would look for. It's possible. You guys know I'm really big at, like, if there's a little trend development in terms of the price action, I don't like to fight it. Let's see what a 2, even a 3. Yeah, I think that's probable, honestly. I don't like the percentage return, though. It's super tight. You're only looking about a 1% move. You would definitely have to use a little bit of leverage on that. I don't know if the juice is going to be worth the squeeze on that one. Kind of tight margins. But definitely something to explore, especially if you see that rejection off of the high volume area node in the POC. That could be something you take a look-see at. This could be closer, more scalpish, just because the percentages are so tight. Let's zoom out a little bit, though. Let's not get too down the soda straw. Zoom out. Look at the structure. Look at the daily. And let's see at some of the higher probability type setups here. All right, so off the high, right? We had a very aggressive move to the downside. Very clear set of lower highs, lower lows. We finally did break out, but then we've gotten into this range. All right, pretty big range, pretty big area consolidation. Let's go ahead and let's move this fixed range volume profile out just a little bit. I think I need to update it. There you go. Man, that came right off the value area low in the POC. I do remember talking about that a little bit. The problem with this is you have a lot of liquidity still below you. And that was kind of one of my big issues with taking more of an intraday, swing trade out of this area. I mean, there was confluence. I will say that. All right. You had a very big high volume area node. Probably, to be honest, it may have been worth a flyer at least, just based on having the value area node and the POC just so tightly interwound, and you had liquidity. Remember, there was a hot spot on the map here at I believe it was like 86.2 or so. There was a hot spot, right? So there was liquidity, terrible L, but here nor there. There was a lot lining up. It's just you had a ton of liquidity underneath of you. It doesn't always, like I said, sometimes it just dips its toes and comes down, takes some liquidity off the table, and then makes a move up. You know, ultimately for coming back down and taking the rest of it. But that's kind of what I'm keeping my eye on, honestly. You know, I'm not super invested in like trying to jump into something right now. But if we were to come down to the yearly pivot and take all of this liquidity off the table, and I believe this is the low of the channel. No, that's the median. Okay, so that's the median of the channel. Yeah, if we came down to this area here, you know, anywhere around like 81K. Well, really, it's got to be around 80,400, 80,500. If we wick down there and you see something that looks like this right here, then that's something I'd be interested in taking. Back up to the POC of the range. So let's take a look at that. Say we're a little slow getting in because we want to see that buying pressure. Let's front run that a little bit. Let's go value area low. It's not a huge move. It's not a huge move. But you can, if you were to project out and give this a little bit of a buffer so it could come down, you know, a 3-to-1, I think is well within play here. Well within play. But the thing is, once it breaks this range, expectation, yeah, it comes back up and retests the lows, the value area low at a minimum. You know, that's the expectation, but there's no guarantee that you don't just stair step down, right? There's no guarantee that you don't stair step down. So you got to be very, very careful. And, you know, that kind of takes me back to saying, hey, you shouldn't really, you know, fight the trend or fight, you know, the structure. So right now, you know, maybe accumulation, do you get a is this manipulation right here, right? Is this the start? So if you have the accumulation here, because this would be classic, and then you get your manipulation right here with the move down and the distribution, you know, so that's something you got to keep an eye on. That's still in play. It's still probable that you get that move down, and then we're not going to fight it, right? And that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. So keep that on your radar. I'm not saying this is where we're going. Just keep it on your radar. If we do come down to about 80,000 and some change, that could set you up for a nice little intraday, maybe even to a swing trade. That's one that, hey, you may come up, take it up a little bit, get a couple of rejections before breaking into the range. And then if you break back into the range, man, it's going to be it could turn into a really, really nice trade. But I wouldn't want to round trip it, honestly. So, you know, staying conservative is kind of more my game. Take that, you know, 5-6% move to the upside, and then, you know, just wait till it breaks back in the range, and then you'll probably see something like this where it breaks into the range, comes back down, retests, and then look for that move to the upside. So that's something you can look at on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and look at USDT dominance real quick, see what that's doing. You did get a rejection out of here. You guys know inverse relationship. That goes down, Bitcoin goes up. So this could be good, actually. You know, I didn't even realize I hadn't looked at USDT dominance today. Very nice rejection out of a pretty key level. I think we can get rid of this right now. Broken that, got a very nice move to the upside. But yeah, I mean, right into resistance, something we had labeled here. That would be nice. That would be nice. And if you're looking at a lower high, lower lows, you know, if this pushes back down to 0.382, everything, I mean, that would be really, really nice for the market. Let's look at the total market cap. I think 3 trillion has been a real big struggle, but you are still riding that ascending level of support. That hasn't changed. So that's good. You know, I mean, it's looking a little bit weaker, right? It's not a nice bounce right out of the area like we've seen previously. Really nice, not so much nice, right? That looks a little bit weaker than the previous two moves. You don't want to see it just hang around there and constantly retesting, because that's more like chopping the tree. I say you start building up the probability that you could actually break down, because, you know, there could be an argument to say that this is bearish, right? There is arguments to say that that's a bearish pattern. Now, I always argue that, hey, is it bearish as it's continuing to go up and you missed out on, 30 to 50% of a move because you were thinking it was a bearish pattern, even though the price action was really just following a channel to the upside. And if you have any question about that, I challenge you, go look at Apple. Go look at Apple and tell me, is that bearish? Because yes, it will break to the downside, but if it just keeps following this channel to the upside, that's actually really healthy. It's really healthy. So something for you to consider. But if it does lose this trend line, that would probably be negative. And understanding, hey, where's our volume at? Cool, we got volume, kind of a lack of volume here. So, where do we look at coming down to? These are your levels down here. You're looking at 2.5, 2.2, and that coincides here with where we found support previously as well. So let's see here. Let's do a macro fib on this. I just want to see kind of where we're at with market cap. That would put you perfectly at the 0.5 as well, right here at this volume node, as well as previous. And I mean, just looking at the horizontal, I do like that horizontal in terms of resistance and support, right around the 0.5, to be honest with you. That would be kind of nice. So what does this mean? Like, how do you use this? If you're looking at a trade right now, I would say that the pressure is still to the upside, but if you were to lose it, right, if you were to lose this trend and you fall down, what are you looking at? Well, if you're looking at support around the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level, well, this is a macro, so it's from the complete low to the high. You're looking at about 2.5, and you come back and you see the horizontals. Check. So we got two things that are checking out here. You would expect, the expectation would be that you would see some support there at that level, and ultimately that would be influential on the assets that you're trading. So if you're expecting a bounce, what do you expect for Bitcoin at that point? If it were to continue to work its way down, not saying it's going to, doesn't look like it wants to right now, but if it were, where are we at in relationship to those levels, right? Like, what you would see ultimately is if it were to move in that direction here, on USDT dominance, right? It's, I'd say, probable. Well, it would have to push through some major resistance, honestly, for USDT dominance. Like, you're talking about breaking into or breaking out of the greater range for USDT dominance, and I don't know how likely that is. Remember, inverse relationship. So this is interesting, honestly, very interesting. But here nor there, you would be looking for finding support. That would be enough. If you're in a short position, you start thinking about, hey, is this a place where I would want to close? If you're looking at taking a long position, like if it meets, your setup here, if you're looking at something where it comes down to, maybe 84K or so, get a little liquidity sweep, bounces back into the range, then hey, like that could help, build a little bit of confluence and build, a little bit of, help you with your bias in terms of like, hey, like I think there could be some upside movement based on that interaction, and seeing the confluence between the charts. So that's how you use it. That's how I use it personally. I don't really base my trades strictly off of it, but it is nice, right? There's been times where we're like, hey, we're getting up to this key level here on USDT dominance or total market cap, at the same time as Bitcoin is getting to a key level. And so that, that confluence between the charts will help you sometimes with entering into those trades, or, getting out of a trade as well. All right, let's go over to the chat here. Let's say what's up to the homies. I see we got the House of Trades in here. What up, bro? Good to see you as well. He's got a Discord. You should go check him out. Also on X, and he's doing good things, man. Good peoples, man. It's cool meeting you. Good building a relationship with you. Of course, we got Wick's wife in here. How are you, lady? Good to see you in the chat. And did we say was Alexandra G? We haven't even said what's up to you yet. How are you doing? I hope all is well. Of course, the best mod in all the spaces. Got to say that. We got JR in the house. What up, dude? Good to see you. And we got Paul in here. Bearish retest of the 200 SMA, in my opinion, will feel bullish until it isn't. All right, so bearish retest of the 200 SMA. Let's look at that on the daily. So you think we're going to go up to ha. That's tough, man. And the reason I say it's tough is for a couple of reasons. Like, one of the big things that we were talking about here on the channel was really this area at around 98 to 100K. That's honestly been my line in the sand. And as we continue to consolidate down here and range down here, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to start to see the 200 work its way down a little bit more, and ultimately it'll probably start going horizontal if we continue to range and consolidate. But if we do push down a little bit more, it is going to eventually meet up with this area down here at about 100K. And I think 100K is a really, really big line in the sand, man. And let's, actually, I want to see the fib level right now, just if we were to take it from the high to the low here. So if you guys don't know, you don't always have to do it from low to high. You can do it from high to low. Yeah, so that was one of my big things for this as well. If you were looking for bullish continuation, right, 0.382, that's like one of your main fib levels in terms of looking for bullish continuation. If you do it from the opposite direction, right, this was one of the reasons I was like, hey man, there's liquidity up here, you got to pivot up here. There was just like, it was like horizontals, everything was overlapping at 98 to about 100,000 plus the 0.382. So I just think you got a lot to work through, and I think this may have been, you know, that test, you know, from if we're gonna get a bounce, if we're gonna get, you know, any kind of what is it, dead cat bounce, people call it, you know, if we get that, I thought 98 to 100K was the level to retest or to test to see a rejection out of there, and so far that's been holding up. And again, the 200 is kind of working its way down as well. So it's going to form, you know, it's going to build more resistance. So even if we were to break through 98 to 100K, right, if we go back to that narrative, that's kind of where, you know, I start changing my tune a little bit, because we are reestablishing a previous range, and that gives you a change of character. And that, you know, then you have to start respecting the fact that we could see, as we move up, you know, a continuation of price action. But yeah, like if you break 98 to 100K and you have the 200 SMA rate above, well then, you know, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about a rejection out of that area, right? That would be the natural, you know, thought process, or, you know, where, like, we start looking at where would we see a rejection if we were to break through. So you get a breakout, you know, a little retest, cool, move up, and then boom. Now that is where, for me, as someone who's trading, that's where I say, okay, cool. If we get that retest continuation and looking for that continuation up, this is where I would close, right? Like that'd be that natural area to close. But I would say, you know, I don't know that would be the area I would be looking for a test to say that we're then going to go bearish out of that move. And it's tough. I mean, obviously neither one of us know what's going to play out. I don't know if that's the one. You know, for me, my line in the sand was 98 to 100K. That was the one to see the test and see if we were going to flip the narrative at that point. And the reason I say that is not so much based on a moving average, because there's a big argument to say whether a moving average should be used as support or resistance. But really, I like to look at the price action, right? Like, here you go. You know, you have very clear accumulation, manipulation into distribution, right? And then again, accumulation, manipulation into distribution again. Just it flipped. So what do we have here? Accumulation. Now it's a matter, do we come down here, right? Get the manipulation from down here and then push up that, you know, but right now, like I said, it seems like it did the liquidity grab to the top side, which makes me a little nervous about seeing it push back up above the current area that we're in, the current range that we're in. It gives me, you know, a little bit of a pause, to be honest with you, and kind of why I'm sitting back a little. I am. I'm. You know, I'll look at trades as liquidity builds. You know, I'm all about jumping on those. But as of right now, you know, I'm kind of sitting back and not playing with as much capital, if that makes sense. You know, if you get a breakout retest of 98 to 100K, man, dude, that changes the narrative totally in my mind. And so then, is the 200 more of just an area that we may see resistance, or is it really the end all be all? I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that, you know, if you're a 4-year cycle person, yeah, you know, let's go back. It's a great point because we follow the 200 on the way up. I mean, there's no arguing that. The 50 and the 200 were support all the way up. We're now on the bottom side. And so I could see the argument for seeing, you know, a test of that and then seeing, hey, what happens after that, man? I just moved that way up there. What is that even doing? I got to lock those or something. Let me put this back down. I'm just going to put it right here where I know liquidity is. Cool. All right, so let's look. I would say this would probably be the argument that you're trying to make right here. And so previously in the 2021 highs, you know, well, look at this. Check this out. There we go. So we could go two ways with this, man. Well, that would be actually pretty similar. Just looking. So I'm looking at the high. You got below the 200, ultimately pushed up. And then you came back and you got that retest of the 200 before seeing that continuation down and ultimately bear market lows. So setting the highs, got below the 200, push up, come back down, and then retest and look for that move down. So I can see that argument. I can definitely, like, you know, if you're a moving average guy, because I know a lot of people like to trade the moving averages. It's not so much my thing. I like looking at price action, preferably for me, you know, and this would be one of those things where like you're looking at the price action here and it's kind of aligning as well with the 200 where there's a little bit of a gap here right now. But like I said, if the 200 continues to push it down, we may both be right. You know what I'm saying? Like we could both be right because the 200, if it pushes down, meets up with this area around 98 to 100K, there is your retest. All right, you get that retest of that level and then, you know, ultimately see that push down. But, you know, again, if we're looking at what, Q3 of this year, going into Q4, you know, ultimately that's where you should see that turnaround. So keep that in the back of your minds as well. Like this may not be long lived. And currently we are tracking the channel right here. This is the channel that goes back to 2021. We're still tracking that channel. We stay above that medium and I think we're okay. And ultimately I would not be scared, you know, if we continue to stay above the median of the channel, which right now is sitting probably at around 82, you know, 83,000. And I think we could even work down, you know, here to this pretty clear horizontal, clear all the liquidity, shake the poop out of the market, and then ultimately see a bounce out of that area down a little bit further to about 70, 75,000. Now, you know, thought process, if you're a 4-year cycle person, unfortunately, if you are a 4-year cycle person, that's going to bring you all the way down here. You know, we're talking about like 35K or so, just based on historicals off the high. So, you know, something to take into consideration. That is definitely, you know, it does have a penchant to do that. I'm going to clear out some of these tabs real quick, make sure we're not getting too slowed down. There you go. All right, let's look at ETH real quick. That is getting a little bit of a push up, is maintaining that 28 to 2,900 we talked about. Let's go over to the, I'll come back to the chat here. Say what up. Alexandra G said she's well. Good to see, good to see. We got V Monitor in the house. What up, man? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Mark Dutch loves the fibs. You know it, man. DDT, what up, man? Good to see you. Watching 2 streams at the same time. Who else you watching, man? Frankie? Is Frankie live right now? He probably is. I saw him live before I started. Yeah, dude, Paul, absolutely, man. I mean, that's the name of the game here. One of the things I like to do is, like, I don't like to be the dude where I'm like, it's got to be my way or the highway, bro. I'm open, right? Like, it's all about collaboration and making each other better. That's really what it comes down to in my mind. And I never, I'm always pushing for other people. Like, I will push you in someone else's direction if they're better at something than me. Like Alex, like that dude is very, very good at scalping. If anybody like is interested in day trading or scalping, I'm like, go see Alex. If you're into macroeconomics and you're looking at big swing trades and moves like that, I'm like, go see Piper. You know, like those dudes are very good at what they do. And when someone has input in the chat, I'm all about it, man. I'm open to discussion and, really looking at it. Come on over to the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, come over to the Discord, man. Like, I'm all about like having conversations with you guys. When I go live, I let people talk. It's not like closed out where it's just me and it's me. Like, it's open discussion. So come on over. Feel free to drop your thoughts, man. I'm all about it. Looking at ETH. Looking okay right now. I think this was kind of the trajectory we were looking at. Coming down. We had a nice horizontal right here, getting a bounce out of the 618 and then making a move to the upside. That was something we had our eye on for Ethereum. Looks like it wants to play. It looks like it wants to play. So we shall see. First stop for ETH is 3176 right now. That's where you're going to have a little horizontal level of resistance, I think. Not even though the fib is just lining up right now. Not so much that like I think these fib levels are like well intact or anything like that, but it just so happens to line up pretty well with the value area high, as well as a horizontal. And then really your next leg up is just under the 200 there on the daily, and that's at about 35 to 36. Again, another very clear horizontal. You can see where it's both support and resistance. One of the big things that I like to take away from this, though, is cool. We have very clear support and resistance at that level, but what did we see? Breakout retest continuation, which lets me know that this level is important at about 35 to 3600. So keep your eye on that. Why do I say keep your eye on it? Because if you are in a long position and you're taking a trade up there, you're likely to see resistance once you start getting up there. That's just the probabilities. That's the statistics, is that you're likely to see some sort of resistance. And if you're looking for a potential short, that would be an opportunity that you would look for an initial rejection. Now, I say that because it's in and out, and you're going to be in. Let's get rid of this here because that's kind of broken. But if you're starting to see a trend, right? If you're starting to see some ascending level of support, if you're seeing some pressure to the upside, do we want to fight that trend? No, not necessarily, right? Like an initial rejection, we get in and it's pretty quick about it, right? We expect price reaction to that level for obvious reasons, right? It's a clear horizontal, the 200's right there, a high volume area node is sitting right here to the right hand side. This level right here, I think, will give you price action. So do we look for a quick scalp or, an intraday trade where you get that initial rejection out of that area? I just think that there is a probability that you could see that, right? And then you come down and there you go. You have another horizontal level and you have a high volume area node that has gone away. It depends on where you scroll, I guess. Bring this price action back and then you get that high volume back. But I think that could be an opportunity, and that aligns right there. But what are you going to get out of that? And that's the thing, that this is why, like, you talk about your risk management and you talk about that game, this is why it's important, right? So you're looking and like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this worth my time? Even looking at this, and yes, I would say it probably is. All right. Why? Because you're looking at about a 6% return. You may or may not use any leverage with that. That's up to you. You want to go 2x, you want to go 3x. I'd say that's well within play. And then it's all about the wick when it comes up here. So what's happening? It's taking all the liquidity that's up there, and then you see that, reestablishing of the range down below, right? So wick, body closes down here, then you take a little trade down, get about 5% on 2-3x leverage. Obviously you guys can do the math on that. So that is something that I would definitely look for. But again, what I said in the beginning of all of this is we're gonna have to be patient. If you didn't jump on this one down here, it may not be worth jumping in unless there could be a small argument to look at a little breakout retest here about 3,200, but this would have been in my area. I didn't jump into it personally. I was looking at other things, but this was the area that I would have been looking at taking a play. If you're not in, you're not in, right? And so don't try to make something out of nothing. And this is where it comes back to, hey, we're just gonna have to be patient. Like, okay, cool, this move is already started. If you're not in, you're not in. Then we gotta wait for the next one. And so the two things you're looking at from this area is, one, 35, 3,600, looking for that rejection out of that area, or do you get a breakout retest continuation to the downside, and then you start looking for a trade down here. And that's when you break the range, and then you're looking for kind of like that stair step down that we've already seen Ethereum do, right? Stair step, cool, boom, there you go. right? So then do we go down to that next level? And that's something that you'll have to look for. Again, seeing, you know, a little bit of accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? It's kind of the same pattern over and over again that you see. Let's go back to Bitcoin real quick. Let's see, this is Ethereum. That's not going to do us any good. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. You're at 89.2 right now, so we are getting that little push up. We are into that liquidity. All right, let's bring this back up. We'll refresh, because 89.2, remember, we marked that on the charts. 89.2. So there you go. See that, the little darkness right there? It came up, grabbed that liquidity, and then rejected. So now, you know, this could be, you know, potential opportunity on smaller time frames. Let's see here. Sorry, you guys probably can't see it. I got to update the, there you go. Now you can see it. So this is on the daily, just looking at where some of the liquidity is. It's got the hot spot. The hotness on the daily, it's reached out and touched in all the wrong ways. So now, do we push back down? And that's something you got to keep your eye on. Do we push back down? Let's go over to the Market Monkey terminal, take a look-see at that. Open it up here. Get a nice little push up. Some orders may have gotten filled for some of that sell side pressure, but those have been taken off. CVD is pushing up though. So what is this on the 5-minute? Open interest is dumping. All right. So positions are being closed, but CVD is still working its way up. This is on the 5-minute. So one of the things that I would be looking for here is kind of a reversal with the CVD at this point. As of right now, not something that would be actionable for me. You want to see this, and you want to see at least it start to form some lower lows here. Now that would tell you a lot. Price action starts going down, CVD starts going down, OI starts going down. That would say, hey, cool, you could get a little cascading effect down, and kind of get back into that range. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Let's see here. Looking at the delta right now, this is only on the 5-minute here. Nothing too crazy. None of that really stands out here. You do have, let's see. Looking at the books. Looks like you got a little bit more, nah. Oh man, this is like super touchy. 89.5. So just a little bit higher. Let's go back to the charts. Let's start cleaning this up a little bit. I got all kinds of craziness here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Looks crazy when you zoom in on it. Is my art really that bad? My chart art? All right, so there's your 5-minute. And I put that liquidity way up above, but let's slide this up here, back up again. What do we say, 89.2? Cool. So there you are. There you are. I mean, we talked about this in the beginning, right? 89.2, hotspot of liquidity, get the majority of the liquidity and the POC of the previous range, as well as a high volume area node. We talked about this like specifically. This right here. Ah, God, that was a poopy line. Slant it. You know what I can do? I can, there we go. And then the old shift, boom. Look at that straight line. It's a beaut. It's a beaut. All right. So do we see a rejection from that? Then do we see that CVD start trending down? I think there could be an opportunity here. I think we'll redraw this. Let's see. This would be a quick one, where we're looking at, hey, where's this wick? I mean, you can keep this one pretty tight, I think. And then looking at the top of the range, yeah, see, that was that one. It's like a 1% move. So obviously it would be more of a scalp, and you would have to use a little bit of leverage. But there could be something there. There definitely could be something there. Maybay Band-Aid, what up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, Paul, no problem, man. What else we got? Gotta go fetch the wife. All right, man. Take it easy, DDT. Good to see you, bro. Oh, we got All Set in the house. What up, All Set? How you doing? Chart R is fine. I've seen worse. Yeah, you've seen enough, man. You watch everybody, so I'm sure you have seen worse. Hey, you know what? We can make this good. Look. See? Look at that, man. The little cheeks. There you go. It's the happiest TA on earth. Do whatever I want, man. It's happy chart art. All right, what do we got here? BTC crossing horizontal line. I must have had an alert down here. Oh, it looks like an alert. Pretty much right where the price action is. Why was that? Well, because I was looking at this. So it's going to be interesting. We do have the orb up. Man, the orb was fire for a couple days, by the way. I mean, it was like perfect test of the orb. Even today. Look at that. Breakout retest of the top side there of the orb. All right, so the orb opening range breakout. That's the first 15-minute candle of the day. The opening, the New York session, at least in this case. Look at that perfect retest, man. Got on top of the moving averages on the 5-minute, got on top of the orb, and then boom. She went. Let's go back to the order book here. See what we got going on. Let's see, 89.5. Yeah, that's still where you got some sell side pressure. It's not much though, honestly. If you're looking at 300, 200, 200, like that's not a lot. I've started to notice though, as I look at the terminal more and more, right? You get a little bit more familiar, start seeing some things. Let me see if I can, oh man. And then of course it's not, killing me. Not the most user-friendly, can tell you that. I think it was this one. I don't know if it was that one. Let me see if I can find it. It's this right here. This right here. So I don't know if it means anything. Let me get that out of the way. But I've seen this a couple times now. You have these orders that are sitting on the books. This one looks like it got filled or partial fill. However, they stayed, right? So it's not a spoof. It's not something that they put on, took off to manipulate the market or any of that. This one actually got reached out and touched. But the thing that I noticed that, again, might be something, might be nothing, is this right here. Once it comes down, and let's say this gets filled and we start finding support in an area, I've noticed that they start riding the price action up, right? And they start putting these buy orders underneath the price action, like directly underneath of the price action. And it's like pushing up the market. And I've seen this a couple times now. So very, very interesting that you get down to a relatively key level. We kind of talked about some of the buying pressure being down here. I think it was Tuesday or last week. It was last week. We were talking about this. It was just something to take note of. So you're getting down to a key level and you're finding support. You did get some orders filled, but then they continue to put orders on the books. Now look at the CVD. CVD was horizontal. Open interest was pretty much horizontal as well. But the orders, that is something to pay attention to. And you kind of see something there similar. Gosh, man, this thing is annoying. All right, you see something a little bit similar here. Comes down, You see the obvious, the wick, the buying pressure, and then they put an order right underneath of the price action again. I mean, this wasn't directly, but it was pretty damn close, right? And then price continues up, continues to work its way up. It's just, I just found that interesting. Definitely found it interesting, and I've seen it a couple times now. And again, I don't know that it means much, but it's just an observation, and it's something I'm gonna kind of start to pay attention to. All right, so it looks like a little bit of a rejection here. Let's see, that's 15 minute. Let's go down to the 5. Let's see what CBD is doing. I wish I could go down to the minute. Unfortunately, this is the free version, not paying for it. CBD is dumping still. So, you know, the question you ask yourself is, are those long positions getting closed right now? Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to see the CBD dump. All right, so we are getting, it looks like a rejection right now. It's pretty bearish. Those 2 candles on the 5 minute. Doesn't mean it's going to continue, but it's kind of your first sign. So coming down to the 0.382 right now, that's you would, if you're looking for a pushback up or a bounce, that's where you would like to see a bounce. You do have a nice horizontal right here where you had that rejection and then an impulse move through the zone. And I think that kind of lined up with a fib level as well. I think it is, looks like the 0.5. So keep an eye on that. Just not quite enough for me, honestly, right now. What you're seeing still is a continuation of the CVD. That gives me a little bit of a pause there. Can I draw on this one? Doesn't let me draw on this one. That's lame. So there's 2 things I'm noticing here. One, let's see, still kind of maintaining that trend up. And then same thing with CVD, right? Still maintaining that trend up. Open interest is dumping, but that's not that doesn't mean that you're gonna actually, you know, turn around. Now you do see some orders starting to stack up above the price action. Now this is something to pay attention to. I don't know if it's gonna stay on there. We shall see. And yeah, that's there it went. That's always interesting to watch those like pop up, go away, pop up, go away. There it is again. So that's, maybe it's just going, you know what is probably happening, and it's going up and down around the threshold. I bet you that's what it is. What's my threshold at right now? $200, yeah, so that's probably the low side of the threshold there. So it's just probably just going on either side of it. All right, so CBD starting to, you know, a little pullback, but we saw that already right here, right? 1, 2, 3, boom. There you go, 1, 2, 3. Now are we gonna see another move? Again, open interest though does not look the same, right? That is dumping. Trump dumping 3, 2, 1. Oh gosh. What's are they about to announce some news? Let me know in the chat, Mark. What's is something actually about to get announced? Is he about to go live? I haven't been following much, to be honest with you. Let's look at AVAX real quick. Like I said, I did put some money in AVAX. That's looking good. Oh yeah, nice little push for AVAX. Love to see it. Broke out of this crappy range. Let's go. Let's go. So I was looking at a potential trade setup here, but I pretty much front ran it. Once they announced the ETF, I just dumped. Well, when I say dumped, I just put money into it. I put about 3,000 in there. There was a couple things that I liked. So I was looking for a breakout retest continuation of this entire range. That's a high volume area. Man, if you get a breakout retest of about 15, I think it's game on. Start pushing back up for AVAX. But, from a macro perspective, looking at AVAX, how much more bottom can you get? You could go back down to bear market lows, $8 and some change there. And at that point, I would probably ladder into the position, throw some more money, bring down my cost basis down, somewhere around $10. And then, I think the probability, now this is a hold for me. All right. Very weak TA, just for the record. I understand. This is baby TA, right? You open a laptop and you get onto YouTube and you start doing TA. This is probably your starting point. Seeing this trend line. All right. You have the lower series of highs, right? Lower series of highs. And then the Fibonacci retracement from this high to the swing low, bringing back up to at least, the 618 or around the 618. I think very realistically, you're getting back up to about probably $24. All right. Realistically, I think you get back up to $24. And then if we break out, all Gucci. I'm good on that, right? One thing to look at too, if you're looking at volume, you have volume right here, right with the 618, and then you have the trend, right? So there's a lot of confluence there, right around $24, $25. I don't want to play the game any longer than that until we break out. And it's all good to get back in. Okay, so this prevents me from round tripping something. I get that push up, I got my sunglasses on, saying I'm the greatest investor in the world. Look at me, look what I did with AVAX, look at what I did with Cardano, look at what I did, everything you doubted, look at what I did. No. I'm going to sell. I'm going to realize gains, and I am not going to round trip it. That is for damn sure. So, that's when I'm looking at something and investing in it, I need a very clear, defined exit. And for me right now, about $24 is it for AVAX. We're looking at it right now. Let's see, my entry, where was that? Yeah, my entry was actually sub 12, but that's okay. We'll look at it for now. So you're looking, at a potential for a 98% return. 98% return on my investment would be pretty sweet, right? Especially if I can do that in about a year's time. That would be preferable that it does happen in about a year's time. Short-term capital gains, wouldn't be much of a thing. And that's my expectation, is that 2027 is probably when I would realize a lot of these gains, especially with Cardano, AVAX, Solana, and all those, where the market is moving back up. Generally, that is the expectation in 2027, especially after Q3, Q4 of 2026, right? If you're a 4-year cycle person. So I'm looking to hold these for, a little time. And, Cardano, if Cardano goes back up to $1, you're looking at like a $27,000 return. So these are plays that I'm making, just obviously conservative plays, laddering into positions. Most of them I've laddered into about 1,000 at a time. AVAX is the only one I went a little heavier on. Like I said, once they announced the ETF, I just went 3K on that one. And we'll look at those. We'll follow those at any time. If you guys want to update, you just let me know. But just getting started on these right now. So obviously you're not going to see any big returns. But yeah, that's something I'm looking at for AVAX. Why is the stream so dark? I have my brightness set to max. You never were the brightest. I don't know. Is anybody else having that issue? Harp, what up, dude? Good to see you in the chat, man. Anybody having that issue with a dark screen? Or is it just all set? Maybe you have a night filter on or something. I don't know. This is my same setup, and I'm looking at my picture on the left side. It looks pretty good. Looks bright. All right. Sorry, all set, man. I think it might be you. All right. Let's see here. We got AVAX. We talked a little bit about that. I do think that's, a strong play right now, personally. Let's scroll a little bit more. Link. I do have some money on Link. I want to say that was my buy. So yeah, I'd be in the negative on Link right now. I think that was about where I bought. It was about $13. So that's down. But again, this is going to be a longer term hold for me. There's just a lot of, well, one, Chainlink looked better than almost everything else once you zoomed out, right? Like it a lot of the assets were making this like, it was ugly. But Link seemed to have been holding up. It was still giving you a series of lower highs at the point that I was investing in it. Looks like it's kind of getting a little stagnant now. It doesn't look great. It looks like it might actually, it's pushing against that area of support. Honestly, it doesn't look great. However, long-term play. Again, I fully anticipate on holding this for, quite some time. And if we're just taking a conservative play here, looking at the horizontals, again, super easy TA, right? It's just a matter of looking at price action and how it's been respected in the past. And when you have trends, when you have horizontal levels where you can see very clear, like that's a very clear rejection. And then you can see where it's waffling around here, where it's clearly, this is an area that it's respecting, comes back down, retest, continuation, down, impulse move through, what to do, retest that area before ultimately seeing a move down, right? So this is where you have seen huge reactions to the price action, and then you can group the price action too, right? You see a little grouping there before it moved down, lost the range. What did it do? It came all the way back up, and what did it do? Retest it right here. So then it's kind of certifies it's an important level. And what did it do? It tried to hold support, group the price action, try to hold support, group the price action, breakdown. So what does that mean for me? Well, that just means like, I'm looking at a conservative play. I do see, it's not setting new highs, that's for sure. So I'm definitely not anticipating on it breaking that level at about 28. And I would say the more conservative play is where I see the bulk of the reaction. If I'm seeing a lot of reactions to a specific level, that being about $20, that would be where I would look at, potentially taking an exit. And if you're at $13.50, can we realistically get a move up to $20, which is a 40% move? Not gonna be mad at that, right? Like in 1 year's time, I'm beating the market every which way, if I get these move, or if I get that move, and it's conservative, right? Like the way that I lose is if crypto takes a big dump and if some of these assets go to zero, which inevitably something will likely happen between what I'm invested in. So I'm in, just so you guys know, I'm in Ondo, Solana, AVAX, Cardano, and Chainlink. So those are the ones I'm invested in right now. Odds are that probably one of those is going to dump. One of those is going to be down like 20%, inevitably. But some of the other ones are going to be up 100%, 40%. At least I anticipate it. Now, if crypto just dumps altogether, then that is also why I did not back up the dump truck and go all in. I'm looking at investing like $1,000 at a time, laddering in, taking these positions in a very measured approach, so that I'm not completely upside down, throwing away, valuable money. I'm not going to say life savings because that is not where my savings is. But I will just say valuable money that I've worked hard for me and my family, that's why I'm not backing up the dump truck. So again, very measured. I understand right now, we're likely to even potentially be open to some more drawdown, and that's why you ladder in, because you're not trying to time the bottom. And I know a lot of people will be like, you know what, they do all their analysis and they're like, oh my god, this right here, let's get all this crap out of here, let's get all out. This is what a lot of people do. They look at this area right here, they look at this high volume area node, and they're like, okay, this is it, this is the bottom. And sometimes they get lucky, sometimes they don't. They back up the pickup truck right here, and then it loses that level and goes down to the next high volume area node, where they're like, crypto's done, I hate crypto, I'm not trading crypto anymore. They're out, they'll never look at crypto again because they try to time the bottom. I mean, you can do that if you want, but it's just not smart. It's not good business. So if you're taking more of a DCA type approach, even though it's not a true DCA where I'm like doing it every month or every week, I'm just like, hey, cool, these are key levels. This is a key level. There's no doubt about it. And if you were to put a fixed range volume profile on that, your POC is probably right here. Right there at about, $7, about $7. Let's just call $7 for government work, right? So you're sitting at about $7. Yeah, that's a really nice level. Then cool, throw some money right there. Not all of it, not everything you're willing to invest, but some of it, right? Like if you're looking at 3 key levels, like that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm like, hey, we don't have to time the bottom. We start here. So 1, 2, and then we look at this area here. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. 3. So if I'm $3,000 deep into this, 1, that's all I'm going to lose. But what I'm doing also is I started here, and then let's say I go in here, right? The cost basis comes down, and then I add more money here. Cost basis comes down again. And then the cost basis comes all the way down to, let's say, $7. Well, if my cost basis is $7, what am I looking at doing then? So the things will change as the market dictates. So what do I mean by that? This is important too, like if you're laddering into a position. So what I mean by that is if we're coming down, you see price action, great, goes down, that sucks. But then it goes here and then makes its move back up here. Well, I was hoping for a bounce here. I didn't get it. Well, that sucks. Okay, so X that out. And then you're hoping for a bounce out of here, right? But that could just range. It can consolidate. It gets a little weird in this area. But if it were to come down all the way to 3, then, okay, cool, I'm getting in. But where am I getting out? Well, that's all changed. Because my target levels were up here, sitting around, let's say, $20. That's gone. That's out for me. Let's get rid of all that. Now, what I'm looking at is getting back out where I started. The crazy thing is, 1, that's conservative, okay? Because what we don't want to do is round trip. The structure has dictated something different for us, so we don't want to round trip it. And what that means is like, hey, it comes back up here, you're actually in the profit, and this is like, oh, okay, everything's turned around. I can't tell you how many times this has happened. I learned from experience. I share my experience with you. Everything's turned around. We're good. But I'm going to stay in this one because it's going up. And then it comes back down. Comes back down to your cost basis. And then it's decision time. Am I going to stay in this? Or, am I going to just cut ties? And so what I always recommend is that if you're in profit, take it. Because that, from this area right here, is a 60% move. You would be 60% in the profit right here. Now you're like, what if it does break? Fine. You can get back in. That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this. You can get back in. Let's say it breaks. Let's say it does get back into the range. Let's have a teaching moment. Let's say you just want to take it up to the 50. All Gucci. The thing is, you're going to structure your stop loss to protect yourself. And you can make it so that you are willing to have a 10% drawdown. Sweet. Knowing that you just closed it out for 60%, You guys can do the math. 60% minus 50%, or correction, minus 10% gives you 50%, right? So understanding that you then, and obviously this is simple math, it doesn't take into consideration taxes or any of that stuff. So I do understand that's a factor. But simple math would let you know that, hey, now you've only lost 10% of that. And let's say it ends up breaking back down. Well, instead of round tripping it, you've turned your whole experience into a 50% move to the, or a 50% gain, vice, round tripping it, or even that being a factor. Right? That's kind of the big thing. And that's the approach that when we get into these market turns that I start to take, right? Because again, I have a 9-to-5, I have a job, I can't always actively trade every single day. It's just it's not reasonable. It's not reasonable for me to be on the charts every single day, 24 hours a day. It's not my job to do this. Therefore, I come up with strategies that work for my style of life. Do I like to trade when I'm available? You're damn right. I like to trade. And if I'm around the computer when the timing is right, when we test a key level, yes, I'm going to jump in a trade and I will show you the trades and I will show you the P&Ls. All Gucci. But when I'm talking about investing, then this is a strategy that for me has worked well. Like it so far, and I'll say so far, because inevitably when you get on your high horse and you think that what you're doing is the best thing in the world, you get humbled really quickly. But so far, this has been good to me. Taking when the market turns, taking in these laddered in approaches, then you don't have to call the bottom. And that's what I think too many people are trying to do. They want to catch the bottom and they want to get the content and the thumbnails that, I got this great trade. That's cool, man. I hit my single, maybe in this case a double, and I have supplemented my income. And I've done it in a conservative way that, made sense in my mind. Like it protected me from a couple things. It protected me from round tripping. It protected me from being overinvested. It protected me from losing sleep at night, and throwing away money. So that's why I say, when the market's like this is something that you should really look at. And it's slow and it's boring and it doesn't make for good content. And it's not fun. And I understand that, but not fun is usually, I'm not going to say usually the right way, but it's usually the more conservative way. And I think, it just gives you a little bit higher probabilities in terms of really making money in this game when we're dealing with cryptocurrencies. And I don't want to see people get upside down, man. That's really my biggest thing. Now, what happens if it bounces from here? Dude, awesome. We bounce from here, we go up, great. We got $20 as a target area, and then again, another way to win the trade. It's too quick. It's too quick on the click. Too quick on the click. There you go, 60%. So I gave you two ways, at looking at 60% on a trade. Very different ways. But if we're finding a key level, you make 60% that way. And then this one, it will obviously be the more patient approach. But there's a way to get 60% on that. And that is only going back to your initial starting point. That's why you don't want to take all of your dry powder and capital and be like, this is the bottom or this is that place, because I saw a lot of people do that on Ondo at $1. I saw a lot of people jump in very aggressively on Ondo at $1, and they were public about it. And where's Ondo right now? 33 cents. 33 cents. So, again, got to be careful. I actually like this level for Ondo, for the record. I might actually think about buying some Ondo right here, where we're at. This was the killer, guys. This sentiment was bad, but on top of bad sentiment, October 10th, conveniently, my wife's birthday, was a bad day for crypto. A really bad day for crypto. What does it get? Big frown. This right here was one of the few times that I will say they've really, really manipulated the market. This is true right here, manipulation. All that stuff in between that people are talking about, like there's a technical manipulation, like when you're talking about accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution, like there's a technical aspect to that. But when people are talking about them manipulating the market, October 10th ruined things. And I mean, look, we followed that wick. This is where everybody was like, this is where I hate crypto. Because people were instantly getting stopped out. Understand what was like, if you were in any kind of like perpetual futures and you had, they were getting stopped out and liquidated within seconds. And think about people that were on cross. Not only did they get liquidated, but their whole account got liquidated. Not only that, if you talk to some smart people, particularly when I say smart, people that are actually with exchanges, which I got an opportunity to do, small exchanges got liquidated. Because small exchanges actually rely on Binance. A lot of them do. And so they will essentially take trades against you. They'll bet against you. The exchanges do that, just so you know. They're in the business of making money. Just because they pay us money as content creators, that's to get more people to get on the exchange. So what? They can take your money. That's the way the game works. Anyways, smaller exchanges got liquidated as well. This was a huge event, and it's crazy. Like I remember back in like 2021, 2022, that time frame, this would have made waves. There would have been endless content about this right here. Endless content, like annoying amounts of content, and it was crickets. Absolute crickets. I mean, there were some people talked about it. But it just like, in my mind, I was like, shit, this is a game changer. This is a true game changer. I mean, this makes it so evident and apparent that this was a huge money grab. Word. All right, y'all got me. You got me going. I think we're going to wrap this up, man. Dave, good to see you in the chat, bro. Hope all is well. Retro Mike Tech in the house. What up, man? Good to see you. Who else we got? Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. AVAX was a spot buy? Yeah, it was. What's your stop loss? I don't have a stop loss on AVAX right now because, again, I'm laddering into that position. It would pretty much have to go to zero for me to the way that I'm approaching AVAX right now is quite different than traditional trade for me. Now, if it were to push back up and get back over some of those key levels, then I would start thinking about protecting kind of the capital and locking it in. As it pushes back up over the cost basis, then we start talking about kind of sliding that stop loss. But right now, I'm kind of all in, like in a sense of like boom or bust. It's a spot position. It's a spot buy. So, you know, I fully anticipate there could be drawdown. I fully anticipate it could go back to bear market lows. That's all on the table for me right now. So definitely a different way of, you know, getting into a position. But it's more like, you know, thinking about traditional. You know, by a lot of people, like when you buy Apple or you buy Google or Nvidia, are you typically buying those assets or those stocks and putting a stop loss on that? And I would argue that most of you are not doing that with the traditional investments. And that's kind of the way I'm treating AVAX right now. I'm treating it as like a really young company, just starting to make its way, starting to make a name for itself. And I'm trying to get in early, you know, in terms. But again, my projection, my take profit where I'm looking to exit my position is, I think, a very conservative place. I hope that makes sense. But what I'm looking at is potentially, you know, just laddering into the position. So I would fully anticipate like, hey, if we come back down to $8 or so, which is kind of like my line in the sand, to be honest. If we come back to $8.50, I will buy more. I will buy more, and I will bring my call spaces down to $10. But that just means that, hey, if my starting point is here at 12, let's go ahead and get rid of that. If my starting point is, it's really just under 12, it's at 11, I think it was like 1160 or something like that. If it comes back up there, then I would probably think about exiting. If I ladder into the position. What I'm hoping right now is that, you know, we start making a move from here. We start making that move from here, then we're all Gucci. It's not really something that I have to worry about. But my thought process is if it comes down, ladder in, bring your call spaces down, and then look to get back to your entry. So that's kind of the way I'm attacking that. Now, if it breaks and breaks down under $8, then, you know, stuff has just truly gotten weird, and, you know, I might just have to eat that one. That's what it comes down to. So, cool. Good question. But again, just kind of a different approach for a spot position there. So when I'm looking at a lot of these, like if I'm taking trades on things, yeah, usually I'm all about having a tight stop loss. But that's a different methodology in terms of getting into that entry and the way I'm trading it, because it's a true trade, and you're looking more so when I'm doing it, you know, like intraday. One quick look at the liquidation, or correction, the Market Monkey terminal. Are seeing a little bit of rejection. You're seeing a little bit of buy side orders come on the book, and you're seeing CBD start to kind of trend down. Open interest kind of going horizontal there. Man, it could be something. Could be something. I would say keep your eyes on that. Right now, I would say just quick glance. Don't hold me to it, but if I had to have a little bit of a bias on Bitcoin, let's see here. I think it's probable that we at least come back down for a little bit, but at least a retest. Let's go down to the 5 minute so that we can have, oh Jesus, my fat and happy sign there. Yeah, I would think it would make a lot of sense to come down to about 88.6, 88.7, just from current position. Retest this the top of the range right here. I think that makes a lot of sense. And really, we've actually seen, I'd say for a couple of days, it comes back and retests the top of the order block, as well as the moving averages, which would be even better. But I say conservatively, coming down to 88.6, 88.7 makes a lot of sense. Just come down, retest, and then look to try to push back up. But that's kind of what I'm looking at right here. Just kind of a move from here down to about right here. That makes a lot of sense, coming to the books and just looking at it. Prices moving, CBD's moving, open interest is moving. You get the trifecta there. I think that's the logical move, and it looks like it's trying to make that happen. So, all right, cool. I think that is going to be it. I'm about to wrap this puppy up. Oh, whoa. What do we got here? Got the pole in the way. Mark, I appreciate you, man. Gifting out 5 memberships. Let's see who's got them real quick. House of Trades, love to see it. We got is it the Andy R? The Andy R? All right, Lurker. Azapats, Arizona Apats, maybe? Arizona Apats. I don't know. Again, Lurker. We got Mike Play. That's not a Lurker. We know him. Hope all is well, brother. And then TNB Willa. Again, Lurker. But thank you guys. I appreciate you. Much, much love. Mark, thank you. As always, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your friendship. We've been homies for a minute there, so appreciate you. All right. Y'all take it easy. Have a good one. As always, trade safe. Be safe. I'm out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go.